Hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful Saturday. In about 15 minutes, join me, Drew Scott, and his lovely wife Linda at home for a little morning chat about houses and homes and the like. Should be fun. See you there.
What is it going to take for each of you to feel comfortable doing something that involves physical contact on a set with a fellow actor as we move into this new uncertain world?
Katherine, do you want to go first, or?
Sure. I mean, truly, it's something that as we learn more about what this virus is and the longevity that it, exists in people's systems and all of that, eventually we're going to get to a point, where we have to just resume life as normal and do everything we can to just stay safe. It's no different than if you have, kissing scenes and someone has a cold, or if someone has something else, or the flu. It's still the same risk of infection. It's still the same everything, and it's we're all going to get to a point where exposure. We all need a low dose exposure anyway, but we have to be smart about it. And I trust productions to look into. The folks that I know in production are already taking the necessary precautions and already trying to figure out ways that we can do this. And it even comes down to a lot of the jobs that I've done involve action as well, which sweating on each other, and you're all, so it's the same sort of sharing of space and everything else. And there's a lot of questions to be answered, but I'm not sure I have all the answers yet.
Yeah, right. Robin, how about you?
Ditto. I mean, I don't think we have the answers. I think until there's perhaps a vaccine, or some sort of cure, I think it's going to be really difficult. And I think with acting, it's not just the intimate scenes and being intimate with your partner, but it's the set. I mean, sometimes you're in these very tight spaces and you've got the camera guy, you've got the sound man, whatever. You've got someone like reaching down your shirt to attach your mic. You've got hair and makeup and you're sitting in a very small space and being touched and prodded. And we're all on top of each other and we're very, very closely connected. And you can't do the 6 feet apart. I don't know how you can possibly do that. And so I think until we have a vaccine or a way to ensure that, enough people have taken antibody tests or whatever, I think it's going to be very, very difficult.
So are you saying that it sounds like you personally don't feel like you're going to be comfortable anytime?
I think that our union will probably do a really good job of deciding what the rules should be and what's fair and practical and what is admissible. Like I think that kind of thing, like it's hard to determine, but I think it's going to have to be a group effort. It's not going to have to be one-on-one.
Folks, I just wanted to pop in and give you a little update on the Just Like James front. I've just been told that we've raised several $1,000s for the World Health Organization COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund, and that's all to you. So thank you for downloading. Thank you for listening to the song. We're really doing some good in the world. All my love.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I'm going to put my cell number in here for anybody who wants to text some questions. There we go. 370.
Drew has fat fingers.
Oh man. Okay, hold on.
Every time.
4968667. All right, there we go. Can I get this? Can I pin this? Is it gonna work to pin? It's not gonna work to pin.
This is like a game because you guys keep typing.
You guys are too fast.
Then, hold on, can you go up?
It won't. Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
All right.
Is so painful to
I can never move fast enough.
Let me try.
Hold on a second. And inviting Kat in as well.
If this works for... Oh, wait, can you do two things?
There you go.
See,
look at that.
Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we always laugh whenever we do an Instagram live. I'll put my cell number up there so everybody can see I pinned it. If they want to ask you questions, they can text me directly.
Wow, I didn't think
310-496-867. But my fingers, I got to pin it. My fingers are too chubby. I can't do it. I have no soul. So Linda with her tiny fingers can get in there to pin it.
That's okay, I'm a ginger. I have no soul anyway, so there you go.
There you go. And I'm Scottish, so I can relate to that. So
there you go.
So how's life at home?
You know, it's quieter than I'd like it to be, I guess. It's been interesting. You know, I haven't been in this place for more than a few weeks at a time since I've moved in here because I'm always out of town shooting. Mm-hmm. And also, you know, I'm a very social creature, so I'm not used to being alone for this long. So it's been interesting. How have you guys been?
Good. I mean, we're lucky to have each other. I see you have your boyfriend as well. Your what's his name? Is it Bob?
Bob. Here, I'll let Bob say hi because you know, he's really quiet. So this is Bob.
Bob looks a little beaten up.
This is boyfriend. He is. We've gone a few rounds. But he's the strong silent type, but we're not really on speaking terms at the moment.
Yeah. It's all right. Yeah. He looks a little gruff. Now hold on. The place you're in, is that the place that we came by to give you a couple of pointers for? Did you ever do any of the work we talked about for renovation or design?
A couple of the things. I did a few things to the kitchen. I don't remember if I'd done that yet when you guys came over.
No, I don't think anything was done.
I had. Here, I can show you. I just did a few simple things because obviously I'm never here, but I put in some subway tile.
Oh, nice.
And a backsplash, and I put in cabinets and changed the hardware. But that's pretty much the extent of things because I have been in Canada for the most part.
So you've been filming up in Vancouver, right?
I've been in Toronto for several years, and then the last 2 I've been in Vancouver.
All right. Nice. So she's from Toronto. I'm from Vancouver. So there, we can tell you all the spots to go.
Both wonderful towns.
Yeah. So, and again, with questions and stuff that are coming into, I have a question for you about filming up there. So you have all the superhero action that you do, and then you have Arrow, Batwoman. You did a
crossover. I was on a bunch of episodes of a bunch of the shows.
So how's that? Like to get to, where did that come from? Getting to play like superhero type character and also kicking butt in Shadowhunters.
So that was sort of an accident that I just fell into this sort of ass-kicking genre for the last several years. But it was certainly an advantage coming from Shadowhunters Arrow because our stunt coordinators on Shadowhunters trained me like 3 to 5 times a week, taught me everything I know, and then when I was cast in Arrow, I found out my character was not only the daughter of the Green Arrow, but also a street fighter. So I ended up carrying those skills over into the new show, which was great. But there are some very special moments in this crazy world of entertainment that we all work in, where you just kind of have to pinch yourself. And one of those was the crossover for the Arrow world, because when you have Superman and the Flash and the Green Arrow and Batwoman and Supergirl all on set, you're in your own super show. This is cool.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's unreal.
As a young kid, so when I was growing up, I did martial arts. I did karate, but I never got to do, as a young actor, I never got to do any fighting or martial arts, and my dream was always to be a superhero. And then as I was a young adult, I was on Smallville. I was actually a body double for Tom Welling for Superman. And then I just had some bit part stuff. And I remember being around there, and then you saw like Justin Hartley from This Is Us. He was Arrow, I think, right? He was, yeah. And so I remember chatting with him back in the day, and then seeing when they would bring in all the crossovers of all different characters. I remember thinking like, this is the best thing ever to be a part of something like that. And it learned to kick butt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What really happens is you have enough of us that, you know, started in music theater and have been doing this forever. And so in between takes, they'll call cut, and Melissa Grant and I are singing tap dancing.
Mm-hmm. That's also what superheroes do.
That's what we want to see. We want to see superheroes tap dancing, like in costume.
Well, I'm dying to do a musical episode, so maybe, you know, next year we'll have to get creative with the crossover.
I like that. But now,
next year, but we'll see.
Yeah. Were you singing before you got into acting, or because I had no idea you were singing about your singing until I saw something posted recently about a song that you wrote.
Oh yeah. So I didn't start I started theater. I started in musical theater. So all of that, I've been a dancer my whole life, but everything else kind of started when I entered this whole industry. But recently I released a song and all of the proceeds are going to World Health Organization.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was an old theater from like 6 years ago, and I figured, well, we all need content and it's fun and silly and might as well make some money for a good cause.
Yeah.
What's the name of the song?
It's called Just Like James. It's sort of a play on James Bond, and the entire song is a pun. I didn't write it. I heard it. A friend of mine wrote it, and I heard it, and it had to do it.
Wait, I can't quite picture the song. What's a little taste of how it goes?
I was worked up this morning. I'd do it for you, but
All right, fine. We Kurt is asking me to ask you, wondering how you're coping with lockdown, what's keeping you busy in lockdown, and sending her love as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. What am I doing? I've been doing a lot of working out. I've been doing a lot of reorganizing my house, but I've also been house hunting, as you know. So that's been a fun process of, being in my house so much. I'm what I want and need more. I've also been hiking and kind of exploring LA a little bit because I'm never here.
Yeah. This is the longest we've ever been at home or in one city.
Yeah.
For the past decade.
Because we usually film, we'll be in 3 different cities at the same time, and, we're on a plane every 2 days. So it's nice to actually root ourselves a little bit and get to see the city. So we've been walking around a little bit too, but also driving the different neighborhoods because we don't know a lot of the neighborhoods. There's so many gorgeous neighborhoods around here, walkable areas.
It's really so pockets of things that you wouldn't even know were there.
Yeah. So when you're at home, is a part of what you have to do just for your shows and everything that you have to keep up your hardcore training, like your super ninja training?
Well, this is the thing. Right now, I'm in limbo in between. We did a backdoor pilot for a spin-off, which we don't know if it's going to. But I've always been an athlete in the sense that I've danced my whole life and I used to play softball. But since doing all of these shows, fitness has become something that I do for me, and it's my little fun. I take a couple hours a day and turn off my phone and put on Netflix or a podcast or an audiobook and just do something good for me. And it's been just keep past the time and keep my podcast and everything.
Nice. And when you say you just throw a podcast on, you mean you throw on At Home with Linda and Drew Scott, right?
I actually didn't know it was a podcast, but I will now.
There you go. Hey, well, anybody else who's listening too, At Home is our podcast, and it's just where we sit down with cool peeps like you and just sort of dig into your story a bit and see what home means. So, speaking of home meaning to you, what was growing up for you? Do you have siblings or just you? Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was your childhood like? Is your personality very similar to what you were like as a kid, or was it very different?
I think my personality is pretty similar. I've always been a little bit of a grandma in a sense.
Yay!
I spent most of my time at my grandparents' house. They have this gorgeous home in the middle of the woods in Kansas City, and I spent all of my time either baking or cooking with my grandparents or just out in the backyard wandering. And that's always been what home is to me. They sort of brought the outside in and have all this stonework in their house that was the land that they built originally a rock quarry. So, and they had a spring that they happened upon building. So now there's a pond in the back. Rock comes up in the house, and it's gorgeous. And that space, we always have this gorgeous property, but we all end up in the kitchen all the time, just sitting around snacking.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the same for our family. We always have, growing up, our parents' place was always where all of our friends would go, even over the holidays. Instead of them going home to their house, they would just come to our house. So we always had a full table around in the kitchen. Yeah.
That's how my grandparents are. Why don't you, parents usually are like, no, you can't have parties. Parents are always like, bring your friends. For the marriage. Hang out. We'll make it great.
Yeah, your mom's like that too. Your mom, I hope she's doing well, and she was so friendly and sweet when we met her. And does she live in LA as well, or where does she live?
No, she doesn't. So when I moved out, I was like 14, so she came with me. But now she's back with my grandparents in Kansas right now.
Oh, okay. Well, pass on a big
That's nice,
hello
yeah.
to her from us. Yeah.
Because she's so shy, and it's always a big whenever she meets anybody.
She's so sweet.
She is sweet. Now, are you learning to cook, or are you a good cook while you're at home?
I'm definitely a baker. I can bake it, but I cook enough to feed myself. But I've been experimenting a little bit with, whatever rations are left over in my house, since I'm trying not to go to the store very much.
Yeah. What have you been baking?
I've been experimenting with sort of what's left over in my house, so I only have gluten-free flour. And I found this old recipe it's called like depression cake, or it's like a World War II recipe, or from the Great Depression as well. And
It's a terrible name.
Have yeast, you don't have certain ingredients, but it's like a rum raisin cake. Really good.
Ooh.
Terrible name, but great,
Yeah.
great tasting.
You'll have to send us the recipe.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been getting creative too. So we have a little garden set up outside. So I can't believe how it's like a hydroponics tower. So I can't believe how fast all the lettuce and herbs are growing, ridiculously fast.
It's
so
cool.
We harvested yesterday for some of the
like
lettuce.
A big mixing bowl of greens. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
It'll last for 2 or 3 days. We ate it all yesterday in one meal.
Linda also, we have beets, and Linda spent half of her evening last night. She took the stalk from the beet and she's using it like a pen because it'll write. Because it's red, right?
Well, it looks like a big feather.
It looks like a feather pen.
Like a quill pen or something.
So she literally has 2 napkins that she turned into pieces of artwork downstairs that was from her.
Yeah, I end up
beet
playing
pen.
with my food.
Yeah.
Why
I have a question for you.
fun with your food?
Yeah.
You gotta have fun. So Nuha, I hope I said that right. From Lake Forest is asking if you ask Kat if they're going to do a complete series of books for the Mortal Instruments.
We actually at this point, the only reason that I could foresee Mortal Instruments coming back would be like a reunion, or if this goes on long enough, we'll do a special. But I'm trying to put feelers out there and see what I can organize. A Zoom thing, fun, because I really asked every couple of weeks because we all are in LA. Those boys, those are my brothers. I miss those guys.
Yeah. No, you spend time together. You start to miss peeps. It's a second family.
Yeah, we're missing all of our crew as well. We just did a Zoom game night with them a few nights ago, and it was just nice to see people's faces.
Yeah, and it's funny to see how hairy everyone is. Like everyone, I've had a beard for a while, but everyone is like this big bushy beard and long hair. We're all getting a little scrubby. Like look at Linda's beard. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know. I shaved this morning for you guys.
Yeah, same.
Very kind of you. Yeah, your ginger red coming through in the beard. I'm Scottish, so I have a few, you can see the gray coming in, but I have some red.
Tri-color of brown, white, and
my
red.
Ginger. Yeah, coming through. All right.
All right.
We have our cookie jar of questions. We're gonna ask you a cookie jar question.
So on every episode, we just pull out a random question from our T-Rex cookie jar. So, no, wait. That one's a Drew question.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Huh.
All right. What is something that you would want to change about yourself?
Something that I would want to change about myself. Something that I have actually been trying to find time to do, and something that this quarantine is actually to do, is take time to relax, work. Because I'm such a workaholic. I love what I do, and I put time into the things that I really care about. But I've been taking time to read, which I haven't done in years. Taking time to sit out in the sun and relax and meditate and make all of these habits that I want to have when I'm busy. But that's the one bright side of this whole quarantine, I guess.
Yeah, it's made us all slow down and realize we don't have to, brutally treat our bodies and minds just for work. We should take time for ourselves.
I think that's exactly it. Self-reflecting and figuring out priorities in life. It's been great for us to spend more time together, and we've been cooking a fair bit together, and I'm no great cook, but she is.
You're a good sous chef.
I'm her sous chef, but it's been really nice. Just simple little things like that. Here's one last question we'll give you before we all head back to our day. So McKenna McGregor is asking, What is your dream pet that you'd like to share your space with?
You know, I grew up with cats, and because I travel all the time, I haven't been able to have a cat in a really long time. So that's something eventually I would love to do. But when I was a kid, I always wanted hermit crabs. I don't know. I was always fascinated for the coolest little creatures that make their own shells and do this whole thing. So maybe someday.
I think that's funny when you see a hermit crab that's like decorated its shell, or it's picked up like a can or something that's its shell. It's the
I always think of the Simpsons episode.
I always think of what's that song? What's the oh my gosh, with the jewels? He's got the jewels all over his shell. It's an animated series. It's the guy from Flight of the Conchords that's the voice.
Shiny.
Yeah, shiny.
That was in Moana.
Moana, yeah. That reminds me of. Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out for a little bit, and hopefully when things are back to normal, we'll all get together. And again, with the new place at the house hunt, let me know if you have any help you need with design or ideas for renovation.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much. Oh,
it's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Kat, for today. You had fun with me.
Thank you.
Risky, did you have fun?
I love Risky.